Okay, so I'm going to start with, we'll see if this works. Talk about technology training. I launched a poll. Do you guys see a poll?
Yep.
Excellent. So what I'm looking at is who hosts your club website. So there are many different people who have different kinds of websites. And I'm wondering if you can just let me know. This would kind of give us a good idea of the crowd and things that we can focus on.
And for the sake of the beginning of the recording, welcome to Sets and Technology Training.
All right, has everybody had the chance to? I think what I can do now is share that poll. Can you all see it? Can you all see the poll? No? Yes? Robin, can you see it? Yes or no? Yes or no? I can't hear you. You're muted. No, they can't see the poll. Okay.
No, it says winter leader Zoom recognized as web conferencing leader base.
Yep, so it's not doing the, well, there is a way to share the poll, but apparently that's not it. So there are 14 people who responded and 2 of you don't know. One uses something else. Dolores, you don't know? Is that, yeah, okay. And 11 of the 14 respondents use Club Runner, or know they use Club Runner. And Dolores, you do use Club Runner. So 15 out of the, yep. Who's the other person who doesn't know? We might know because Isabel. Doug, do you know?
Not sure. Let me look on the website.
I don't think that they do, Izzy, because you guys don't have a website.
Right. I just asked Doreen, actually.
Oh, okay.
And, we do most of our announcements and publicity through Facebook.
Okay, excellent. All right, so what I'm going to do is start with just a little bit of an introduction about the kinds of technology that the district and you as a club officer or member need to know how to use. The first one, and I think we are beyond this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because when I started training pets, we were using overhead projectors. And now look at us here on Zoom, for crying out loud. I mean, come on, this is pretty amazing. So the number one thing everybody needs to feel comfortable with is email. There are people who still struggle with email, and this is not going to be about that, but we can definitely help you if you're having trouble with email. It is the main way that Rotary International, our district 7790, and all of us, the people on the district level, communicate with you. So you don't get phone calls, you don't get faxes, you don't get anything but emails for communication. So it's really important that you take some time and do some basic, make sure that you're understanding what you're seeing in your emails. And I know all of you guys are, but part of that also is that I try to make the headings of my emails super clear, so that you know that it's coming from me. As a president or as a secretary or as a treasurer of your club, your email heading needs to be very clear, because especially, you know, there are people, I get 100 emails a day, and to find the ones that I need, you know, by now I'm pretty good at it. I know which ones are coming from where. But for people who aren't used to that, make sure that you're very clear and direct and, you know, about your communication, and do it right in the heading. From Rotary Club of Old Town Zoom meeting link tonight, or something like that, you know, so that people don't wonder about if they should open it or not. You will also find, as presidents elect, and secretaries, your email starts to go way up once you get those roles. You get emails, but it's very clear when it comes from Rotary International. And then it makes it, the more you see that, you realize the ones that you get that are kind of, you don't know what they are. If you don't know what it is, you can't blame yourself for not reading it, you know? So remember that for the other end, when you're communicating to your club, no matter who you are, no matter what the position. So the first technology you really want to get your handle on, get a good handle on, is email. And next,
Marie,
yeah.
may I mention something here before, and I'll ask you to remind us to point it out when we get to the position of talking about one's profile on Club Runner,
Yes.
as far as what individuals opt into or out of, as
Yes.
far as
I have
reading.
that open on my thing to show them. Yep.
Very good. I just wanted to make sure we covered that.
Yep. Absolutely. So the next thing that you want to understand is the basic structure of the technology. The technology for a lot of this, pretty much all of the roles emanates from websites and Facebook. Facebook, like you were saying, is another place where that starts. But again, Facebook is a website. So all of that is online type of activity. As far as your club goes, and the progression from the district to Rotary International, the things you need to be good at all live in 3 websites, up to 3 websites, definitely 2. If your club has a website, and 80% or more of you on this call have Club Runner for your website, that is the place you're going to be the most, right? That's where you're going to be doing a lot of your work, and we'll show you that there. If you do not use Club Runner in your club, even if you have a website, but if you don't use Club Runner in your club, the next place you need to be very familiar with is the district website. That is where a lot of the communication will happen, where your members are listed, and where all of that interaction happens. Additionally, there is the Rotary International website. And that is where I'll show you, you will find places for the club president and the president-elect to enter goals and to update the goals. And it will also have places for you to create a profile. But the most important thing on that website are all of the resources that you can find, either training videos, manuals. All of the links that we put in that resources document, they're virtually all off of the RI website, and they're updated regularly. So, but we just kind of put them together as we were doing the training to give you at least a place to start. You'll notice that there are a few links in there that take you to a website in order to get that information. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. No, I'm not. Get out. Let me get to where I want to go. And see if I can share this one. Okay. So starting at the club level, For those of you who don't have a website at your club level, this is definitely something you want to consider. Facebook is great, but Facebook only reaches through friends and through acquaintances and through sharing. You're missing a huge segment of the population if you're only on Facebook. And we actually have gotten more than one member directly through our website. So that's proven to be pretty important. This particular website, the Rotary Club of Old Town, is hosted by Club Runner. So we do use Club Runner for our website. The things you want to remember when you have your site, no matter who hosts it, are things like your club information, which you see here in the middle. You want to have your meeting times. You want to have some of your speakers listed on there so that folks know what's going on and upcoming events. Of course, things are a little strange right now, so our site even is a little lacking. And how many of you, well, hopefully, actually, I think that's all I'm going to show you at this site, because Doug will go into more detail about entering information. This site and the district website, when it comes to a lot of the things that you can do, are virtually identical. However, because the district also uses Club Runner. However, if you have Club Runner and you want to make a change to something, you need to do it at your club level in Club Runner. Whether you're a regular member, whether you're an executive, whatever it is you want to change about that, do it first in your club. That information from your club will then feed up to the district website, and the appropriate information from there will feed up to RI. That's the key. If you do that out of order, things can get wonky, and we can help you fix that. So if you have wonky things, let us know. We will help you fix that. I'm actually going to log out here so that I can show you how to log in and kind of have a tip am I logged out? There we go. This is the login, and I did something that makes me very happy. If you have a login in your club site, it's the same on the district site. So whatever you have set up here, you use the same credentials to get in on our district website, which is another really nice feature. And then I made actually I did it the other way around. I made my Club Runner, my club login, the same as my RI login. So I only have one login for all of my Rotary places, and that was something I did, and I was like, oh man, that's like the best thing ever. When you get into it, I don't know where you'll end up when you go into your club. When you log in, this is where I come, and it's admin. It's the administration page under the admin tab. And the reason I come here is because everything is here. Your screen will not look all blue. Most of it will probably be gray because you can't do a lot of these things. But this is the part I wanted to show you right here, the My Club Runner part right here, because at the top is where you can edit your profile, change your password, do all the things that as a member you need to do. So it's very easy to do all that right here. And I'd also like to show you this on the left. This is on many of the screens in Club Runner. It is help. They have a support center with videos, webinars, and if you're having technical issues with the site, you can submit a ticket. And their support center is great. And if you can't figure out how to do something, there is a video or a walkthrough on how to do it. So please keep that in mind for anybody who's having trouble with the site. If you click on Edit Your Profile, this is what you will see. And if you, which I'm going to show you later, if you log into the district website and click edit your profile, this is what you'll see. So you can see there's very zero difference in the profile. So that's kind of nice. Any of the information you enter here will go into the district website. Now, this is all my personal information. Okay, it's all about me. The email, the email address here, the primary email address is very important to remember. You want to have the same one here as you do at RI, absolutely, and that you log in with. That's one of the biggest issues we run into when people are having trouble logging in. If you click on the Rotary tab, you can enter all kinds of stuff about you, who they have your sponsor. This is also where you find your Rotary ID number. It's also on the back of your Rotarian magazine. So if you ever need your Rotary member number, that's where you will find it. Biography, I guess I don't have anything in there. Commitments. If you are using Club Runner heavily and have people in their committees, you can see the committees that they're on, and that will show there. Settings, I don't remember what these ones are. Wow, it's slow today. Oh, this is where you change your password. So settings are that's where you can change that. It also tells what your admin level is. And privacy is where Doug was talking about earlier. This is how you prefer to communicate. The only thing I've opted out of is the Club Runner service updates. District privacy settings. So I allow everything up to the district level as well. And on the club, so everybody who logs in can see all this stuff about me. They can find me in a search, they can see all my addresses. And then for RI integration, this means your club has turned on, and should do this, the integration, so that it goes all the way up to RI. This is what shows what you have opted in and out of. And our club has opted out of all of this stuff. Just your name, your home address, and your business address are the only things that our club sends up. And of course, because of being involved in the district, our district titles go up as well. So for us, and I think anybody's title goes up, Doug, right? It doesn't say that in there, but your title, your position in the club is also something that goes up to there. So if we go back to your browser, and I don't know if there are preferred browsers. I have good luck with Google Chrome, so I tend to use that. I know, Doug, you use Firefox still? Yeah, so Firefox works well. I don't know does anybody use Internet Explorer frequently with it? I'm not sure. But we do know those two definitely work well. And if you type Rotary7790.org, that is our district website. So that is the web address for it. This district website has a lot of features here that you can use to manage your club. So if you don't have, for those of you who don't have Club Runner, you're going to do the management here. Doug is going to get more into the specifics of the management, but it's basically the same. You log in at the same place. The only difference with your profile, where it was up here on the left before, it's under this for members. So all of you can still have your profile and look at your profile at the district level and make sure that it's accurate. Yeah, Doug will talk more about that. I couldn't really think of a lot of things at the district website that aren't secretary related, Doug, but the homepage that I know, that without even logging in, there's a lot of information right on the homepage that you should be aware of. So the district has directory and contacts, an organization chart, the committee list. The committee list is really good too if you are interested in having a speaker and you want to have the speaker who's at the district level for whatever committee, you know, Polio Plus, so you would find Scott's name there. Okay, this one's not the one I was looking for. That's the club directory, district organization chart. There you go. So you can see people who are all there. Then we have the officers and directors with their pictures, which is nice. And the assistant governors. So there's Robin and there's Scott and Tina. Look at that. So there are all kinds of oh, stop that. Places of things to get there. Your dues bill is right here, front and center. You don't have to log in to get your dues bill. There it is. There is the district code of policies, which is public for everyone to see. I don't know what's in the photo album anymore. And you can contact the webmaster. And that's me. So if you click on that, you can contact me, but I'm sure you guys can all find me anyway. And if you're really interested, Ken, you can click on Francais over here and the whole thing will display in French for our other part. There's a newsletter link here. So there, the most recent newsletter will be there. The citation, the district citation. So for you presidents, that's really important. Public image and public relations. I'm not going to read this all to you, except for this one here in red that we were talking about last week. Your grants information that has been updated with COVID-19 stuff. So that's really important. And there are other district resources and information there. Upcoming events, things are canceled. I don't know why that's still there. You'll find a lot there on that. And this is, you know, this article right here is new. This is the district governor for 2022-23. This YouTube channel is not the YouTube training channel. Just so you know, I haven't figured out how to put that on there, but I will be adding that. This is an old YouTube channel that we've lost the credentials to and nobody knows how to edit it. So, but there are some kind of cool old videos on there. And the best holy crap, it's 6:37. So Rotary.org, forget the 7790, just the Rotary part.org, and this gets you to Rotary International. This is the third website that you need to know. And the place that you want to go immediately is My Rotary. You want to click on My Rotary right here, and that's going to take you into where you need to go. Mine just went in because I'm already logged in. It will take you through a login page that you can, in order to get in. The first page always has some news and updates. On the left, it has your club. Here is the profile that you can have on Rotary International. It's good because it doesn't pull everything up. You know, you can put there what you want. This is for the whole world to see. So you might feel differently about what you want to post there. There's online tools, Rotary Club Central, which Robin will talk to you about, Brand Center. That's where you go for everything logo Rotary. Rotary Showcase. You want ideas for fundraising? That's where you go. People share their ideas there. Rotary Ideas. And this one here, the Learning Center. I'm going to show you this at the top too. Learning and Reference. The Oh, I thought the Learning Center was there.
Way to the right. You had it.
Oh, I
Corinna.
did? Oh,
Still-
yeah, it's at the top. Learning Center, thank you. So you can see here all of the learning, and this takes, you know, financials about, this is all stuff about Rotary, about policies and procedures, but learning by topic and what your club role is, learning by role, that's hugely helpful. And most of them are all here in the Learning Center. The Learning Center and Brand Center are two places you might have to log in again to get to because they are a little more locked down. But I would encourage you to definitely do all of that. The Learning Center has courses that you can take. And there's the Welcome course, but a lot of these courses here, the ones down below are just in different languages, and these are specific to zone and district. So this level right here is the one you really want to watch, keep your eye on. Public image, the club committee structure basics, so administration and membership, president basics. Look at that, it's 4 hours and 45 minutes. Rotary Foundation Committee Club Secretary basics, another 4 hours and 15 minutes. There's some really good information here. Your service project, and there's the treasurer, an hour and 15 minutes. That's the one I'm going to look at and let you guys know if that's we'll do it for our district. All kinds, essentials of understanding conflict. I mean, there's just all kinds of really amazing information there. And then the other place that you want to get to is the learning by role and the learning by oh my gosh, go back. Well, that's interesting. How do I get back to my Rotary? Oops. Like this, I guess. And the other learning by, let's just say, club roles. So there's your president, treasurer, secretary. And if you click on president, this is where we have gotten a lot of the different kinds of resources for you. All the Lead Your Club, Be a Vibrant Club, membership group, all of those things, the Constitution and bylaws, all of these other tools. And then it brings you back to those places additionally. You can also register for webinars. So there's just so much there that we don't have time to get into, but I encourage you to work on getting your logins and make sure you go in there and do what you need to do and just click around. You're not going to break anything. Click around and figure out what you can see. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Robin now. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? Nope. I think that was my not so quick update.
Wonderful. Bear with me while I change up my screen here.
Can you share?
Yes.
Okay,
working on it.
I'm a co-host, so you could.
Can everyone see this? My Rotary page, which is where Corinna left off, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So I'm going to pick it up from here. She already showed you can toggle back and forth from rotary.org to my.rotary.org. And from here, I'm going to give you a pretty quick tour, and it's basically to show you where to find these things. So as you go forward, we'll start first with some reports. If you go into Manage, go under Club and District Administration. There we go.
And Robin, it looks like you're logged in as a president-elect. So
I
this
am. I'm
is
sorry.
what everybody is going to see as a president-elect. It might look different with a different role.
Correct. I with my assistant governor, my screens will look entirely different. So I have borrowed our president-elect's sign-in. And here, as I am, I'm a little thrown off here. Okay, so manage, I go straight to reports. Otherwise, it brings you to this other page. You just have to find it further down. There's all kinds of reports you can gather here. My computer's slow. I've got a little unstable with the winds, so bear with me. View reports. Here we go. This is another way to get there. Bear with me.
Yep.
Holy smokes. Okay, here we go. So there's a list of various reports here. So for number one, let me point out to the right side of the screen over here, there's all sorts of how-tos, FAQs, there's a lot of help and assistance. If you don't know how to do something, there's, I hate to say there's an app for that, but there's a file for that. You can also research in here, whatever it is, or this search bar. It does wonderful. So here, I'm going to jump down and look at, sorry. I'm going to jump into Club Giving and view some reports here, just to give you an idea what the screens look like. And again, we wait. So sorry. So in here, you can pull a variety of reports. I'm going to jump into the Paul Harris Fellow and Benefactor Report for our club. And in going in here, any of these reports can actually be exported into an Excel, so you can just set them aside or use them in a different way or manipulate the data once you have it in Excel. But this here, you'll notice up here, this lists all, look at the dates on some of these, 1984, 1985. You can actually manipulate all the data through this toolbar here. And remove, take out, do things. There's a lot of these members who are no longer with us or with our club. But you can export these reports and do all kinds of things with them. So if you're looking for specific information on something, then by all means, this is where you go. Oh dear, let me get rid of that toolbar. Hang on a minute. Close, there we go. So that's just one example of some of the reports you can find. I'm just trying to show you where to find the information. Like Karina said, go in, click around, find your way, test out a few things. There's obviously all these other reports here. I'm pointing, but you can't see me do that. I'm going to move right along now to go to Rotary Club Central. This is where you will go. It kind of toggles you over to a different area. Fully load. And like I said, we're just going to move right along through here. Let me move this over some. So the dashboard is exactly that. And you can gather information on the dashboard that you can see your club, your area, the district, the zone, or all of RI, depending on what you're looking for. So if we look at, say, global, let it load, you can see the numbers here. They're over 1 million. So this is all of Rotary International with where we're at with gender, membership, ages. As you can see, there's a lot of information. All that same information can be funneled right down to your club level or district or your area, your, however you want to sort it if you would like to look at those things. There are people who are numbers people. The goal center I'm going to come back to in just a moment. Your global view, excuse me, you can view the goals for your area, district, zone, or all of RI. The big key here is looking at what year you're in. If you notice this right here, you can look at last year, the current year, or the year you will be president as PE. But you can see big numbers here. If you look at district, You can see what 7790. And this is for next year, so that's why there's 0 in there. Let me go back at 1. So you can see how that works. Service activities is where you enter your service projects, which will accumulate your volunteer hours. We'll go through this in just a second. I'll come back. Resources, you want to know how to do anything in Rotary Club Central. This is where you go. As you can see, there's all these PDFs in here. I'm just scrolling so you can have a quick look-see at some of the resources available. Rotary has done a fantastic job with providing information on everything. I have found that the RI website has come miles compared to just a few years ago. Reports, again, you can look at some of these reports. Member foundation service for the club, the district, or regional. This was kind of an interesting one. I just kind of popped in here because it's not a place I normally would go. And basically, you can look at how many clubs there are in the world by country, and then how many members, which I found really interesting. United States has the most, over 7,500, followed by India and Brazil, oddly enough. So there's some information here for those numbers, folks. Contact us is exactly that. It's a pre-filled out email form. So if you have a question for RI, here we go. It's all set to go. Write your question, submit. Easy peasy. And then My Rotary takes you back to where we just came from. So let's get into the Goal Center for a moment. You can see Rotary Club of Old Town. Select your year. And this is where you will enter your goals. It's very intuitive, user-friendly. And as you can see these tabs, it walks you right through. So members and engagement, this is your membership. And then you can plug in your goals. And then when you go to later on, provide progress on your goals, this is where you will come back to do that. But you can see the various things here. These are the things you will need to think about as you go forward to enter your goals. Let's look at foundation giving.
I'm just going to pop in and say, these goals are, there's a ton of them to enter in there. These may or may not be the same as your presidential goals for your year. So don't worry about that. These are metrics that RI uses, and in order to make Rotary better. So that's why they're asking for all of this data and why it's so important for us to try to help them out with it.
Right. So you can see with Old Town, one year we didn't report our goals. It doesn't mean we didn't have any foundation giving that year, but the goals didn't get loaded, so hence we don't have our numbers for that year. But if you're looking at your goals, one of the things you should consider, looking at our history here, I would not assume that I would be able to put in, $5,000 for foundation giving, knowing what my club's history is, as much as I would love for that to happen. So be cognizant of that as you go forward. Young leaders, we'll just jump over there. Well, I skipped over service. Let's go back. So how many service projects? And let me go ahead. You can look at your service projects. In our club, I know we do a hunter's breakfast, we do a golf tournament, we do an annual auction, and then we have a variety of smaller ones as well. This is where you would enter those in a big picture. Public image, there we go. And when you're done, you can slide that over for Chief. I don't want to mess with this because this is our president-elect's page, and I don't want to sign her up for more than she's ready for. So that takes care of this page. I don't know if there's any questions at this point, but like I said, I'm just trying to show you where you're going to go for the entering of your goals. The service projects, this is where you will go. You can add a new service project. So maybe it's, I don't know, the cupcake project. You put in whatever description about it. Your calendar, your start and finish date in case it's a 2-day event. over the 2 weeks. You'll put in how many volunteers you think you'll be using. If you think that there'll be 10 volunteers for 20 hours apiece or vice versa, then later on you'll be able to figure out how many there actually were and plug that in. Cash contributions, how many do you think, it takes some money sometimes to put some projects together, donated or in-kind goods. This is all valuable information. When you ask for an in-kind, I know this from working in development, when you get an in-kind donation, you probably should get the retail value for your Rotary Club, because then this is where you will plug that in. So if somebody gives you, in the case of our Hunter's Breakfast, a 20-pound bag of potatoes, let's say, then you would put in the dollar amount of if you had to purchase that item. This all adds up. And then there's additional information here you can select, whether, who are you serving? Community, young leaders, polio, what's the end result here? Who are your partners? In our case, with our club, we have a lot of businesses in the area. They're not ready to commit to coming to a weekly meeting. However, they've never turned us down. They're very supportive of our club, hence donated potatoes for the Hunter's Breakfast. So Rotary takes this information and they want to gather as much information about what your clubs are doing. They're, as you know, they're pushing for public image and PR. And it's also really useful for your club, tagging into what Carrie was speaking about in the earlier training with public image. You'll be able to put out there, do you know that the Old Town Rotary Club donates over 1,000 hours, or X amount of dollars go back into your community as a result? This is where you can tabulate all that information. So you may, this is something you might want to just assign one person to handle, because it can be quite a bit of work. You'll need a sign-up sheet and what have you, and try to manage that. It's good information to have. And also, at the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and see what your club did in the community in a whole different way. It kind of goes, wow, we didn't know we put in that many hours. And if that's an average year, then you know where you're at. So this is really good information on top of your goal center, because it keeps you on track. It's, the whole thing about if you have an idea, write it down and it kind of comes to fruition. Stay on track with it. Check in with this from time to time, especially on your membership, your foundation giving, your Polio Plus, those things, because you can kind of see, oh, wait, we're halfway through the year and we haven't hit our marks yet. And that could be because you have a fundraiser coming up that will take care of it. It might be because, you're doing a membership foundation in February. I mean, who knows? But this is a good way to track your information, from service projects to your foundation giving to membership and what have you. But it keeps you on track, keeps your club on track. And don't be afraid to share this with the club and say, you know what, we were committed to X amount of foundation giving, and put that push out. I think people need to hear that. So let me just check and see my notes if I skipped anything. I think I've got us covered here. And we'll go back to my Rotary and just show you how easy it is once my internet works.
If anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. I'll be watching it for her.
So I'm going to stop sharing at this point unless I can't see the chat right here. Hang on a second. Any questions? Handing it back to you, Karina. It's very user-friendly. I can't stress it enough.
Oh, one new message. Tried to log on. Oh. Huh, Mary got a message that it's down. Interesting. Didn't I make the whole chat? Participants can chat with everyone publicly.
I've got that here, yep.
Okay, good.
No, I just picked privately. I'm sorry, Karina.
No, that's
mine.
fine. I thought I messed up the
That's why it wasn't
settings
you.
again.
But I literally have tried to put it in and it says it's temporarily down. That's what I'm getting as a notification.
Interesting, because Robin was just there.
I was just watching her going, why can't I do that? Why can't I?
I just refreshed my screen and it still works, so And I'm on really slow internet here, so yay me.
With the wind,
I came
it's
like-
hard to tell, and the power outages and everything that's been going on. I'm not going to get into that part of the technology because I don't know. Sorry. Well, hopefully you can get that resolved. If things going forward, you still have some weird issues, please let us know. All right, it is almost 7 o'clock. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break and then come back, and I will hand it over to Doug. Does anybody have, I mean, there are only a few of us here. You know, you can unmute your mic if you'd like, if you have anything you'd like to share or questions. And if not, Sandy?
I'm just going to probably sign off. I was in for the technology.
Yep.
And
Yep.
thank you very much. Very helpful.
Good. Oh, good. Good.
And that goes for me too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Jeff.
Thanks to everybody. It's been
All
great.
right.
Have a
Say
good
hi
night.
to Suzanne. Tell her we missed her.
She's making dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
See you all.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
stay safe.
So what is the second part, Karina?
It's more detailed what a secretary would need to know, or even as president, it's how to enter members. Actually, Doug is kind of going to poll people and ask you what you want to learn about tonight. What are the things as far as being a secretary, and what are the things you're having trouble with? What are the things you want to know more about? Doug, do you have any comments on what you're talking about?
Well, I'm going to talk about whatever the people want to
Yeah.
talk about, basically. You know, and like just exactly like you said, you know, whatever people are interested in knowing more about, how to work with the websites and how to keep things in order. That's what it's about. That's what the secretary's job is, but to make the president look good. So, so it's good to know. Yes, you like that, Mary?
Need all the help I can get.
It also doesn't help doesn't hurt if the president, vice president, whoever has an idea of how to do this stuff too, because it's, you know, it's helpful. They might not need to know all the dates, but they might want to be able to go in and look and understand what they're seeing.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I was trying to like log in so I could go along with you guys, but
Yeah,
that didn't work.
but that was at RI, correct?
I tried multiple ways.
Did you go to have you been to well, I think we'll be doing the next part, most likely, I mean, at the district website, Doug, you can do pretty much all the same things, correct?
Well, yes, but I'll start certainly at the club level.
Okay. Because a lot of it, and yeah, because I know there are some here that don't have Club Runner. But a lot of it is the same at each.
All right, break time.
Yep. All right.
I just tried again, Mary, and it's letting me in. I'm sorry.
Mary,
Just me.
so, and you're at rotary.org,
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
trying to go in through our site now. When I thought, well, maybe I didn't put in my right sign in because I just can't ever remember any sign in.
well, you can't get to Rotary International through your site into it. You can't log in. If you just type rotary.org in your browser, where do you end up?
At the Rotary.org.
Okay, and if you click on My Rotary at the top, what happens?
That's exactly what I did.
Okay, and that's where you get the, what does it say? That's where it says the site's down?
Well, yeah. So I'm at myrotary.org,
Yep. You're,
and then I just try to sign into my Rotary. And I literally put in my email, because it is your email that you have to use.
have you set up an account on RI? Because it's not the same there as your club.
Maybe.
I'm gonna
That could be
say
it
that.
too.
I'm gonna say that's probably the problem.
I thought I had when we were signing up for everything. I thought I had, but
Yep. Well, it gets confusing, and that's why I'm trying to clarify the 3 place. You know, like
and that's why I'm on this training.
yeah. Hopefully, we're not making it worse.
No, because I'm taking notes.
So
So
click on what does it say? Set up an account
Create-
or
yeah, I'm trying it to see if it says no, you're already here, lady. Or
yeah. They'll send you something in email.
error, your sign-in address is not available or is already in use.
Aha.
I am batting 100.
So you entered your email address and then you clicked on forgot password.
I tried that one too, and it said that it was down.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so
I'm batting 100.
so there's something wrong with the email part from RI.
Because it said I tried to do an email.
Mm-hmm. So your email is correct.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get out of here and say, okay, I'm gonna go back to my. Okay, sign an email because I was 90% sure that I did this, but maybe I didn't do a good. So I'll do forget password because maybe that's what it was. Maybe I did a wonky one. But if I do that and then try to put in my email, which it tells me I have, reset password, there's a problem. We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Okay, so you're just gonna have to wait. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just don't know who I would go and see. Or
Nobody.
who would I go to
They're
fix it?
experiencing. It's something on their end. You just have to wait till they fix it, and then go do the same thing again and request a password.
So I should probably just try like tomorrow.
Yep.
Is that what-
Yep.
Okay.
If they're it's on their end. I don't think it's anything you're doing.
Hmm.
And do you guys have Club Runner in your club?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Well,
So you'll be able to follow along with Doug if you can log into that.
that's what I'm trying to do now. But I'm trying to remember all my passwords. Because it came out weird because of my last name. It's like MSTP, or it's something weird, and I'll figure that out.
Yep.
So I have a question. While you guys were talking about the Rotary International website and the Club Central,
Mhm.
I went on to Club Central, logged in and did all that fun stuff, but it told me I didn't have the level of access I needed to have. So I have to get somebody that has the admin access to put me in so that I have the access to see the reports and enter all that information.
What are you again?
I'm the president-elect for Ellsworth.
If Ellsworth, no, you should then. So Robin,
Maybe I'm not, and I just don't know it.
they might not have entered you properly.
That's okay.
So you might not have that title associated with your name because the way permissioning works at RI is by role. It's role-based
Okay.
permissioning. So as trainer, I have this set of permissions. As president-elect, you have this set. As secretary, you
Right.
have this set. As AG,
So I went
you
on
have another
president,
set. So yeah,
logged in,
you're,
and it
Doug
doesn't.
is
it's like I
probably
have-
looking, aren't you, Doug? Yep. Doug's gonna suss it out.
Yeah.
He's gonna look and see what you're listed as.
Maybe I can sneak off, right?
No, absolutely not.
Well, the interesting part is you're sitting here and you're looking at your upcoming year, and I think we have to find a whole new way to be in our communities.
Right.
And
What's
so I've been
like?
thinking very hard about that because we have two major events that we've had to put off, or not put off, but one we postponed and the other one's in August. And, you know, we may be ready, but is the public ready to go into that large type of gatherings? And that's what we have to ask ourselves, is how do we want to be in our communities now?
It's a good question. We're all going to be dealing with that.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, what do you think? Well, Dolores isn't back yet, but.
Go lay down. I'm talking to my dogs, not you guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, you don't have to ask me twice.
That's right. That's right.
I just looked at our end of the club runner, and she's all set for where she's supposed to be for this year, and Robin's are set for next year. So it's not our end.
RI has got her listed as the incoming president.
Okay, because I just,
No getting away now, Laura.
Yeah.
I was just thinking if they don't, oh my God, now what happened to my computer? Jesus.
It's all right, we're all going to blow away down here on the coast anyway because it's howling right now.
Ooh. All right, Doug, why don't you get started? It's 10 after 7.
All right, so let me ask the loaded question. Besides Laura trying to figure out why she couldn't get into Rotary Club Central and do the goals, does anyone have a question that's secretary oriented? Anybody?
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. We won't laugh, maybe a little, but
Yeah, that'll help a lot, Karina.
Thanks.
By the way, one of the things that I noticed when we went through going from website to website, if you look at your Club Runner website on the home page, you will actually, on your own club's homepage, you will see a link there in the center to the district website. I don't want to pick on Karina, but I noticed she typed in the district web address in order to get to it. But right there on your own club's website, from Club Runner, you have a link directly to the district website. And it's in fact, make sure when you have your information up there, although not many people will see it, unfortunately, it seems to me, because I don't know how many times I've had people ask me, well, how do I send a piece of mail to you? Well, it's right there on our homepage, giving our mailing address. It gives our mailing address as well as, of course, where we meet. So, that information should be there on your own Club Runner website, so that you can either direct people there or just go ahead like I've done for years, tell them what the mailing address is, and even though it's right there on the website.
And can I interject here, Doug?
Pardon me?
Let me interject
Oh,
here.
sure, please do.
I know in the past there's been 1 or 2 times where I've had to reach out to a club and I didn't have their mailing address, and I found it hard in some cases to find it. I had to dig around for it. Not every club has it as obvious, so keep that in mind if somebody wants to mail you something. And then the other thing is making sure that information is accurate, because when the district governor comes, they rely on that information to set up their schedule.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's just one thing that I happen to come upon. So, Karina, I guess I can share my screen if I so.
yeah, I made you a co-host.
Oh, I feel blessed. Let's see.
I'm not doing it.
I've got so blasted many pages open here. Where do I want to go? How come I don't see all of the pages I've got open? Why is that, Karina? That I don't see all of the pages
Need
that
to
I
bring
actually,
the page that you want to the front. And I
Uh.
doubt you'll be able to go from tab to tab. Did I go from tab to tab? Yes, I did.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, you can. So once you get your browser right behind Zoom on the page you want it, so pull it to
Okay.
the front and then click on the little, okay.
All right, got it. All right, let me get.
Hey, there we go.
All right. So getting back to the homepage, you notice here's where we meet, but also our mailing address. And here's the little icon that I was speaking of that is on all of the Club Runner websites that lead you directly to the district website. I do like to have all of our directors and executives all listed here. And of course, each one of these, as the way Club Runner works, you can click on that individual and send them an email. We probably could get into a lot of different things here, but let's see. For example, I always put basic information for our members for quick access for them, so that they can see all of this information on the greeter list, the invocator list, the speaker list, the membership brochure that we've created, the actual application is there as well. But of course, because this is a major communication tool, you want to have all of this other information here also. I haven't put the rest of the information in here for the speakers as of yet, but and we've had, of course, quite a number of events, as everybody else has, that have been canceled. Some I've still left there, hoping that maybe we'll be freed by then. And of course, I have the links also to our director's minutes, all listed here, as well as several of the other major documents within the club, our constitution and bylaws, and Safe Passage, because we deal so much with Safe Passage, and then links that individuals can use to do eClub makeups. So let's dig into, I haven't even logged in here yet. And in this case, I always end up going back to the home page. I haven't set that to go directly to the member area, but here's my member area. And one of the things that I always like to point out are the, for example, those edit download files that I had there. This is where I would go to initially put in the minutes from a director's meeting. Actually, that's not the one I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to edit club documents there. Here you'll see year after year after year of various items that have been entered in here, getting finally down to our current year. So this is where the minutes immediately go after a director's meeting, and then a link is put to the most recent one on the home page under the home page links. So you can keep all of your documents right here within the confines of Club Runner. Some of the other areas that, of course, you need to know about, especially as a president or secretary, is the email message center. Extremely helpful spot. One of the other things you will notice here is down the left-hand side is your custom distribution lists. And in fact, just today, I created the list for the new board of directors for 2021. And so you can make sure that you have all of that up to date. Of course, the full list will bring in all of the club members anyway. But that's when you are actually creating an email, you will, of course, first go to compose a new message. And then you can select from this grouping here what you want to use for those who are going to receive the email, and then put in your subject and then your information on the actual email. And you can upload up to 5 megabytes per file to attach to that email and send them on out. And if you want to just look at the email before you send it to anyone else, you can actually do that. You can use this button just to send it to yourself, because I often find that you might type up an email and looks fine, but when you look at it again, you'll say, oh, oops, I really blew that. I missed a word or misspelled something dramatically or whatever. So you can just send it to yourself before you actually send it out to everyone else to make sure that everything's copacetic.
Or schedule it for later.
Correct.
And I did want to mention, Doug, you and I skip over that top part just because we're so used to it, where he showed you to put can you click compose again? Underneath the subject line, there are all the templates and merge fields.
Yeah.
I ignore all of that, go down a little further. And if you look at the top of the box where it says dear, nickname, last name, that's going to pull the list from the list you choose, from all the people you choose, and all of those lists on the left you can expand and just click individuals from. It gets down that granular. It's going to fill their name in. So when you're typing the email, you don't need to say, dear Rotarians, because it's already going to say, dear Karina Larson, blah, blah, blah. So just keep that in mind. Don't worry about the templates and merge fields. That's something you could always learn to do if you really want to, but I've never had a use for it.
No, neither
But
have I.
it's confusing when you're looking at it. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
recipient, what? No, just ignore all that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's why I
You
just
skip right over it. Mhm.
Yeah, because I never use it.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Karina said, you can go into these individuals, and of course we do have at least 1 or 2 people who do not have email at all. So of course their name, does not have a checkbox. But if you select all, and let's say you want to have a surprise event for Mike Cormier, you can uncheck his box and then send the email out to everyone but Mike Cormier, or however you want to do it. But that is a good feature, so that you don't want to ruin the surprise by sending it to him as well. So you can pick and choose as you go. And under the custom distribution list, some of the other events, other people are good to include if they're not already in there. Contact groups, we have some people who are no longer members, but still want to hear about what our club is doing, and including members, past members who are members of another club elsewhere. They are still want to be considered friends of the club and want to get our emails. So in this area, I can, make sure that Patty Byers, for example, gets the message, or Magda Nemlich. So you can do that on any individual email that you want to send out. As far as, like Karina said, it really, you can bore down to individuals to select or deselect individuals.
Doug, can you talk about if you wanted to create a custom list, where would you load those emails in the event of wanting to invite a friend of the club or past member or what have you, so folks know how to do that?
All right, so let's go back to the admin page, and you'll notice here's a category of friends of the club. So you can put an individual in there and give them really, just a very brief profile. You don't have to, get full-fledged about it. And a lot of these, some of these are some of our past exchange students. Some are those who were really active in our Interact or Rotaract or whatever. So that's why they're in that group. So you can put them within here, and then when you go to do your emailing, you can select them if you wish to get them in on that message. And of course, you have another category of other users. Again, some of these people are people that we want to eventually get into the club, so their perspective, as you can see. So we try to keep them in the loop as well. And of course, I will also admit that some of them are my either onion or cheese customers, so that's why they're in there. I don't know how many of your clubs are using Club Runner to do the actual dues and billing, but that is certainly an area that is popular to know and to use. It works extremely well. I used to be the only one who ever sent out club invoices. Now that's kind of been weaned away from me, and the treasurer is doing it, although we have a relatively new treasurer. So I had to do that for him this past year, but hopefully as time goes by, he will take that over. And you'll notice some of these individuals have a negative figure showing here, and that's actually because of some of their EREY contributions are entered in here. And some of the individuals do decide to pay from the actual account statement that they receive. And again, if you have a situation where you have an individual who has not paid, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting for that person to do it, you can send an email out of this page specifically sending another copy of the invoice. And of course, you can just send it to that one individual. But if you look at the actual invoice itself, what you end up sending out is going to look like this. And as you can see, in our case, you have the option. I put it in as optional but recommended annual fund donation. So it doesn't, obviously you don't have a quantity in here because it's an optional thing.
Is there a limit on the number of different types of invoices you could have?
No. You mean as far as entries, descriptive entries?
Right. So, well, you could invoice for dues, but could you do a separate invoice for meals and a separate invoice for?
Oh, I don't see why not. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you certainly could. And we've never done it that way because we pay generally by the week, or as people come in, they pay for a month or whatever. But
And our club uses the export to QuickBooks function there on the left.
Right,
So the
right here.
dues is done, just the dues is done through QuickBooks. And actually we have a meal item in our dues, so that's paid through there. And then she exports it to QuickBooks and uploads it into our Quick.
You still there?
Did I mute myself before I finished talking?
Yeah.
She uploads the file into QuickBooks, so she has all the bookkeeping right there.
Ah, okay. All right. We thought you had been blown off the map or something. I trust I would have heard if there have been any questions that have come in. Right, Robin, Scott?
Yep, I've been watching the chat.
Okay. All right. I guess I wish people would ask questions here, because I mean, I just don't know exactly where people would rather I went.
I think putting in members is really, really important.
All right.
And it's the same at the district site, and anybody who doesn't have Club Runner needs to know how to do that.
All right. So let's go to the active member list. And voila, here's the button, add a new member. So obviously you're going to put the information in here, and well, heck, we got a new member coming in. This week, we're going to do an online Zoom meeting induction. And of course, it won't let me change the date to a date that's in advance, but I'll try it anyway. But that's where I would put that in. And then, of course, you just fill in the information for this particular individual. And this is not a transferring member. If it were, you would, of course, check the radio box here for yes, and then you would have, hopefully, the member's number and their former club and district, so you could put that information right in there. Here you will see, you'll put in, of course, their email address, and this is the only time you will actually see one of your members' passwords. You know, people always say, well, can you send me my password? I said, no, I can't, because I don't know what it is. I have no access to it. But when you're entering a new member, they give them a temporary password right off the bat. And then you can either opt in or opt out of sending this email notification that when welcome new member packet comes out of the system. And also you can, you certainly, I don't know any reason why you would not want to report this member to Rotary International, but they still give you that option. And I have discovered that putting a new member in like this, it's almost instantaneous. You know, they'll actually give you they'll say that it might take a day or so. You'll get that message on the screen, but I know that I will have entered a new member like this, and then just a matter of a minute or two later, I look at that person's profile, and their membership, their new membership number will be there in their profile. It's that fast. And likewise, I know when we were preparing for this gathering tonight, we were speaking about what information does directly go from Club Runner all the way through the district and to RI. And one of the things that we kind of speculated about was that executive or, you know, your position, an individual's position within the club, you know, does that flow immediately up to RI? And I was looking at my own profile and my own list of executives within our club. And I realized that, yeah, sure, I was there as secretary. So then I looked on RI to see what was showing within the confines of RI as far as our membership was concerned. And let's see. Go to that. I'll show you how you would check such things. This is what I ended up doing. There's add or edit or remove club officers. But of course, this is a function you're truly going to do at your club runner level. And as I said, our team was discussing this, wondering, well, does that flow immediately right up? And I looked at it. I looked at this page for our club, and sure enough, of course, I was there as secretary, but I also looked at the incoming, and I showed down there in the incoming as executive secretary and as regular secretary. So I said, oh, good, that's a situation that I can test this to see what happens and how quickly does it happen if I make a change at the club runner level of an executive position. And you can see that now I have it in there under the current officers as executive secretary director. And you'll notice the start date is today, because I did this today. So yes, it happens again, just like you get that instantaneous information coming back to you, so to speak, from the information as far as the membership number. It happens that quickly when you change an officer as well.
Jill was
yeah.
asking if the sponsor goes up, because I saw that there is a space for adding your sponsor, but you used to have to put it in separately. Do you still have to put it in separately?
You still have to put sponsor in separately.
There you go, Jill. Even though it's
know.
there, it doesn't go up.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's one little area that they have not changed. But also, the contact information doesn't necessarily go up either.
Your club can opt out of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of got off track on that, but that's what I wanted to answer that question for the sake of our committee as well, because that was something that we had wondered the other day, and my little test showed me that yeah, it does work, and it goes all the way up there. So the moral of the story is, make sure you do all of your changes at the club level and do them there first, because the vast majority of the information that you enter there is going to flow all the way to Rotary International. So that's the biggest lesson one can learn from that. Let's see. And of course, you have the list of all of the inactive members on your club as well, so that if you want to invite individuals who are still around that may be interested in an event or whatever that you're having, you can contact them, of course, through the regular email and opt in to select them into the fold for events such as that. Let's see.
What is the importance of attendance now?
Well, that's a loaded question, Karina. I mean,
I know.
I still, because I'm so old school, I'm still doing it. I'm even doing it for our Zoom meetings. So, here's the last week's meeting. And of course, if you have Club Runner and you're not using the attendance module, shame on you. I mean, this thing is fantastic for doing attendance at meetings. It's absolutely incredible. Because I go back to the paper days, so this is like falling off a log compared to what you used to have to do.
Do you
But of
bring
course,
an iPad to the meeting and do it live?
I bring my laptop right to the meeting and do it as people come in. And, it works beautifully. And for example, you've got an individual who's not at the meeting. You can click on this makeups, and you can find if they have an available makeup to apply to that meeting, and you can add it right here. So it's very, very handy. Under attendance, if I go to the attendance dashboard, you can see the history report, the report of recent meetings. This, of course, these are all COVID related with the poor attendance. And I'm still doing an attendance report to the directors on our monthly meetings. So I use this customized attendance report to get the last 10 meetings so that I can see how people are doing over the previous 10 meetings. And of course, each individual can go in to their own profile and see their own attendance. You'll notice that this is only going back to February 13th, but I can change this back to wherever. Let's go back to December 12th. And then it will reproduce here and go back to those dates and show me what the attendance percentage was, those who were present at those various meetings. So this is how I managed to get my last 10 meetings. We had some snowstorms besides COVID coming into play here as well. So that's why I actually had to go back into December, I guess, the last time I did a report such as this. And well, of course, when you do use this attendance module, you are able to set up your own rules as far as who's going to be counted and who isn't. And I also adjusted that so that it reflected the new Council on Legislation as far as individuals having a year to make up a meeting. So if I look at makeups, I can go way back. Let's just go back to July 1 and look at the makeups. I want to see what is still available, so I can click on meeting date, and that will give me the banked makeups that are still accessible for individuals to be used to adjust their makeup by giving them to adjust their attendance by giving them makeup for this. You can see we had one individual who had multiple hours at the Festival of Trees that still can be used. So you see I've got many pages of available makeups, and that's why it says banked. They have not been used yet.
I'll jump in here for a moment too. I know in
Sure.
the past I've logged in my makeups for serving as AG and other things, attending various club events for other clubs, because I know in the past it has come into play with the governor's citation as well.
Right, right. And you'll also notice if I go back to the major page that shows all of the meetings since the start of July, you'll see that these are still considered open. You know, you can still do makeups that affect these other meetings that are in green. But in order to actually have the information on what your attendance has been that goes to be reported, all you have to do is close these meetings, and now the two March meetings that we had would be part of our report.
Another good comment from Tina was that they use attendance to inform their membership committee's outreach if people are not showing up. So they can,
Right.
they can, you know, let people know. Also, when thinking about potential leaders, those who show up the most are very engaged. Good points. Thanks, Tina.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks a lot, Tina. I like that. Let's see. So any questions or anything that people are wondering about that they see here that they wonder what the devil is that? You know, what can you do with that or whatever? I use this so much. I don't know. It's hard. I'm hard pressed to say what to go to next. Maybe executives and directors.
Executives and directors, and maybe entering an event.
Yeah.
Secretaries do that frequently.
Yeah. I know I do. Oh, come on. Let's go. All right. So here we have our list of executives and directors for the current year. And then you can click and go to the next year. And Charlie, that reminds me, we need to fill in this director for 3 years position.
It's Tim Thompson's position, is that right, Doug? I believe.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Tim is now will be leaving at the end of this year, so we need another director. Let's see. All right, what was it you mentioned? Yeah, what did you mention, Karina? Events. All right. So edit events. So here you can actually, you'll notice there's a button not only to create a new event, but also to view all events. And when you click the one that says view all events, it will bring you to the oldest one first. So you can just click on here and reverse that sequence so that you get to the more recent events. So these are the ones that have been put in here of late. Of course, we had our ACT meeting, unfortunately canceled. We're still tentatively hoping that our board of directors will be able to meet. Although the Pierce House is actually they used to call it the old folks home. So I don't know. We probably will be looking for a different location to meet even after COVID is gone. But that's where you could create your event. Let's go in and do that. Here you would just name it. Let's say it's another Rotary Brew Fellowship, sponsored by Al, of course. So he's gonna do it as a fundraiser. So here you'll put in the date and the time And it's going to go till for a couple hours. Of course, you can change these to whatever. And here you can now put in Al Feather because he's actually the chair of this. And then you would put in the location of the event. And when you get down to this area, you can, the initial is to always opt out of putting it in the district calendar, but why not put it into the district calendar? So you can just click there and that will send it to the district calendar as well. And there's actually an area, and I can never remember where it is, but there is a spot, oh yeah, right here. Calendar items recurring. So when you have an event that happens every year, you can place it in there so that it's always going to be showing up for you, and you just have to then go in and edit it. Like the next Festival of Trees, December 2020 is already in there. And of course the 4th of July parade and our, hopefully our scholarship fund yard sale. I don't know why that's still saying 2017 because it's, anyway. But you can put recurring items in there and then they'll automatically show up for you. You just need to go in and edit information. The date, of course, will change from year to year because this is always the first Saturday of December, but you need to change it to the proper date for whatever the first Saturday in December is in that case.
And I just want to tell you guys too, a lot of what you're seeing in here is not something that you as a secretary or whoever has to do all at once. What you're looking at is the accumulated data that Doug has been entering for years, and it accumulates really quickly. There are some things that if you take the time to do them will help you in your job going forward, like making those email lists, setting up recurring events. There's also the committee structure. As the secretary, it might be your job to keep track of the committees, who's on the committee. And once you put all of your committee structure in there, you can move the whole thing forward from year to year. And all you have to do is assign a new member to that every year. And the work is done. The committees are all in there. So you don't forget which committees they were, you don't, and you don't lose them, which can happen. A president's only president for 1 year. That's a pretty fast change. And there's a lot of opportunity to lose it. And that is, I gotta say, that is one of the biggest advantages of Club Runner. Once you put it in there and it's there, and it's very easy to maintain it, and it only gets to be better as you go. There's only more and more in there as you go, and it gets easier to use too, just because you're in there all the time. I'm done, Doug.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I was just looking through some of the other things. Of course, here you can change the design of your website and make sure that you get the proper logo in for the next year. Putting in
only things that need to be done at a different site. Besides, we found the sponsor.
Yeah.
Every year, do you have to enter your president-elect, vice president, and secretary on RI, or can you do it here?
You can do it here. As I said about with my test earlier, it flows right up.
So the only thing you have to do on the RI website that can't be entered here is the sponsor?
That's Well, I almost think so.
And just the club goals that the president does and president-elect.
Right, right. I'm not 100% sure if all of the contact information, I don't think the contact information flows up. You know, the email address, the physical address, phone numbers, those don't flow up to RI. Those you have to enter as well.
Ours actually said that our home address was entered. Your name and our address. No I don't think email address was shared up. But Robin, did you see that on our site under privacy? I think it depends on what you have set to go up to under the integration tab, because you can put email. It says there is a button for email, but our club has opted out.
I think that we put just about everything up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and it doesn't, so you've got it opted in and it doesn't, you don't think it goes?
I don't think so. When I put that new member in Thursday, I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Ours only has the first three, name, address, and business address. That's all our club is opted into.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, here you'll notice there definitely is not even an option for stating whether or not you want the sponsored information to go up. So.
And Jill was asking, can you go right to the district privacy settings? Right, scroll so we can see the district privacy settings. Jill, you were asking about, no, not RI.
Oh.
Right there. So Jill, you can see all of those radio buttons to allow email, to allow phone, individuals can turn those on and off. And I do think, Doug, can you do that for other people?
Yes, yeah, because remember we had a situation where we had a president-elect who
opted out,
inadvertently had opted out of allow district emails. So I said to Corinne, you want me to go in and change that? Because I can do it. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But, we allowed them to do it themselves. But, and, of course, that is an issue because they say, well, I'm not getting email. Well, there's a good reason, because in your own privacy settings, as far as the district is concerned, you've opted out of receiving that email.
So Jill said their club is looking into Club Runner, and there are people who have issues with sharing that information. So I just wanted to show her again how robust it is with what you can share. And Jill, it's good to know that you can do that too for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you probably have to be an administrator, but you should be as a secretary anyway. So I know.
Yeah. And it's getting on in hours here, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing, even though in 770, in 2007, 2008, Rotary shared. So I'm not going to share it. I never even got to the district website, but anyway.
It's the same. It looks the same. That page is the same. You might have to hunt a little in the administration lists to find the club settings, but it's the same thing. And you enter your members there, and that way it's really important, because here I am running this webinar, running these meetings that we've had, and we're missing a few secretaries, even on the district website. How do I communicate to everybody? Am I supposed to call every club and make my own list? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't have time for that. I use the district website. It is the tool we have for communication. And if you're not on it or not in there properly, you're not going to get the memo. But luckily most of you are all on there, and there are enough presidents, and we try to get it out to enough the AGs and pass it around. But that is the main way we communicate. All of us are kind of busy people too, and this just makes everybody's life easier if we're using the technology and using it at least in a minimum capacity of having all of your members, having the roster in there appropriately at the district level. And if you have Club Runner at your club, you can do it there. Otherwise, you need to do it at the district website the same way Doug showed you. So if you get to the point where you're going in and you're having trouble logging in, or you can't remember what the heck we were talking about or where it was, because if you're like me, you take these notes and then the next day you go look at your notes and you go, what the heck did that mean? Or this is the one I was famous for, writing down a phone number and I didn't write who it was. So I'd have this phone number and not know who to call. But anyway, yeah, we all put our pants on the same way. So all of us so we definitely understand. Call us, reach out, whatever, we can help you. Jill, if you're really looking into Club Runner and you want to have your board taken through some things with it, anything you've seen that you'd like us to show, we can do a meeting for them as well, if you think that'll be helpful. So, or anybody else. Jill's trying to unmute. I'll unmute you. There you go. Oh, wait, I'm going to stop. There you go.
I was just going to say, I've been the holdout for the club, so they're the ones that are pushing it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're the secretary, and I can understand why they would, they would defer to you for that.
Well, I've only been doing it for, 20, 30 years, so, you're set in your ways. And
It's scary. It's scary, but I have to say, look at what this pandemic has done for everybody, to kind of throw them into technology that they probably never thought they would be doing. We have our octogenarians in our Rotary Club on Zoom in our meetings on Thursday, and I'm blown away by that. They're trying, they're working the technology, and you have to be kind to yourself. Know that it takes time. Don't be, upset with yourself if you don't get things right away, because it's not always easy.
But the thing that you will find out, Jill, is it'll make your life much easier. It'll make your job much easier. I mean, I go back to when we would have a new member coming in, and I'd have to sit there in my Smith Corona typewriter and retype the entire roster. And
that's right.
That's how far back I go.
Yeah.
So, doing things that like I did back then to the way they are now, it's so much easier. It's unbelievable.
And as far as Club Runner is concerned, we only scratched the surface on what you can do. Play around in there. Look at the reports you can generate for your club. Look at what Doug was saying, the roster. You can generate a handbook with pictures of everybody, paper. So if those people who like the paper can have that, there's also a Club Runner app. We have, a lot of us have that on our phone. So you can contact anybody in the club right through that app without having to input all of their contact information into your own personal book. What do you call it?
And one of the things with that app that I have to remind people is that if a new member comes in, or if a member has changed something within their profile, you just have to refresh your app on your phone. But that is by far the most fantastic communication tool, because you can take their profile and just bring it right into your contacts if you want. You can email them from there. You can text them from there. You can call them from there. Whatever they've got listed as phone numbers, their home, their business, their cell, whatever, you can call any of those numbers that are listed in their profile right from that app.
Yep. Are there any other questions, Mary? I see you shaking your head.
What's the matter, Mary?
Smiling.
It's been a long day.
Oh.
Let's just say it's been a long day. I don't know if I can learn any more. Stuff's gonna like fall out of this year.
Totally understand. Totally understand. So everybody, glad we made it through the storm without losing power again. And I am going to miss seeing some of you guys. Clyde, we're going to have to, like, you know, get together or something again. You know, Charlie, there's like so many of you that we've seen every single week. It's going to be funny not being together on Monday. And
And the cats.
oh my God, your cat is freaking
The cat is
hilarious.
adorable.
Everyone's so cute.
Wow.
What a ham.
I guess so.
But again, thank you for everything. You know, that was kind of a quick technology tutorial. There's a lot more, but you know, anything really. And we say this all the time, and you know, I'll get emails and stuff from people sometimes and help, but you know, whatever you need, we can help you with. Okay. All right.
This has been super helpful.
Good. Oh, good.
This has been a very good session. Very,
Oh,
very good.
good. Excellent. Yep.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And we will be sending out evaluations soon, but and then you can just to give us some more ideas maybe of things that you want. And take care of yourselves, and you know, don't be too hard on yourself because things are really crappy right now. Give yourself a break. And I really appreciate you jumping in to learn all this. So thanks. And I guess that's it. Good night, everybody.
Everyone,
Yeah.
night.
Take care.
Stay well.